Imagine a single senator standing tall for nearly 19 hours, shouting warnings about the erosion of our democratic foundations, right in the heart of the U.S. Senate. That's the electrifying scene unfolding as Oregon's Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley pushes through the night and into the dawn, spotlighting what he sees as President Donald Trump's authoritarian overreach. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a heroic stand against tyranny? Or just dramatic theater in a polarized political arena? Stick around, because Merkley's marathon address is shedding light on actions that could reshape America's identity forever. Merkley, at 68 years old, kicked off his extended floor speech around 6:20 p.m. on Tuesday, powering through with minimal breaks into Wednesday. He's positioned himself beside eye-catching signs declaring authoritarianism is here now. And Trump is violating the law, symbolizing his fierce opposition. Pausing only to field inquiries from fellow Democrats, he's kept the momentum going, determined to expose what he views as threats to the republic. And this is the part most people miss. Merkley isn't just talking, he's drawing parallels to America's darkest historical moments. "I've taken the Senate floor this evening to sound the alarm," he declared at the start. "We're facing the gravest danger to our republic since the Civil War. President Trump is tearing apart our Constitution." For beginners navigating these deep political waters, authoritarianism here refers to a style of leadership where one person or group concentrates power unchecked, often suppressing dissent. Think of it as the opposite of the balanced democracy enshrined in our founding documents. His speech directly addresses recent events, like the federal appeals court's decision allowing Trump to dispatch the National Guard into Portland despite local officials' protests. They argue there's no basis for labeling the city a war zone, yet Trump has escalated tensions. Similarly, he's authorized military actions in Chicago, where federal agents are aggressively targeting individuals suspected of being undocumented immigrants, leading to arrests and injuries among veterans and lawmakers. The Supreme Court is now gearing up to review a challenge to this deployment in Illinois. Merkley weaves in these urban military interventions, focused on predominantly Democratic cities, and connects them to other perceived retaliations. For instance, he highlights charges brought by a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney against New York's Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey, framing them as politically motivated strikes. Equal justice under the law, that's the American dream, Merkley emphasized. Not this unequal injustice where the president wields government power against those he dislikes or sees as foes. He added a chilling reminder. These are the stories we associate with distant authoritarian regimes, thinking they'd never touch the United States. But they're unfolding right here, right now. This points to a broader concern. When leaders use institutions to settle personal scores, it undermines the fairness that holds society together. Merkley's team hints he's in it for the long haul, speaking as long as he can to amplify these warnings. This isn't his first rodeo in the spotlight. It's the second such extended Democratic Senate speech this year criticizing Trump's agenda. Back in April, shortly after Trump's inauguration, New Jersey's Cory broke records with a 25-hour and 5-minute solo talk, setting the stage for Merkley's own endurance test. As the sun rose on Wednesday, Merkley anchored himself at a lectern with a modest glass of water and a copy of the 2018 book, How Democracies Die by Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt. This work explores how representative governments worldwide have crumbled, offering a real-world lens. Think of historical examples like the fall of Weimar Germany into Nazi rule, or modern shifts in Brazil, to understand potential risks in the U.S. Throughout the day, Democratic colleagues joined him on the floor, posing questions that doubled as platforms to voice their frustrations with the administration. New Jersey's Cory chimed in, warning, "We're witnessing a period where, if we don't raise alarms, more Americans will suffer under a president behaving like an authoritarian ruler rather than a democratically chosen leader. Connecticut's Richard Blumenthal drew a stark analogy between Trump's ongoing partial. It's a vivid way to illustrate how symbolic actions can signal deeper systemic threats. Oregon senior Senator Ron Wyden praised Merkley's effort in an interview, calling his points especially timely and crucial regarding the dangers we face. When asked about other Democrats planning similar lengthy addresses, Wyden kept it measured. We handle these one by one, but Merkley's action is undeniably vital. All this unfolds against the backdrop of a 22-day government shutdown that kicked off at the month's beginning as Democrats and Republicans clashed over funding extensions past September's end. The Senate has failed in 11 votes on a Republican bill to fund through November 21st. Blocked by Democrats due to missing healthcare provisions and limitations on Trump's rescission powers to slash congressional appropriations. But here's the controversy that might have you questioning everything. Are these military deployments in cities like Portland and Chicago genuine responses to unrest or calculated moves to intimidate political adversaries? Could Merkley's marathon be a genuine call to action? Or is it an overblown protest that divides rather than unites? And what about the book's thesis? Does it apply here? Or are we overstating risks in a resilient democracy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you see Trump's actions as authoritarian overreach or necessary measures for order? Agree or disagree with Merkley's alarm ringing? Let's discuss.